Hello, welcome in, welcome back. I am JL Garofalo. You are tuning into Creator CTO Live, and today we are launching a product, soft launching a new product in the fantasy football world. It's exciting. I love launching products. Yes. Last year, I launched a product on my birthday. This year, I'm soft launching a product near my birthday. Turns out stacking the two is a great experience if you want to, as long as you did the launch correctly and nothing terrible nothing goes terrible is what I was trying to say. Then your birthday gets to be delightful. And so that's what we're hoping for here. But I'm not prepared to do a hard launch yet. I built the product. It's a fantasy football rankings product, but I haven't sat down and designed the hard launch plan for it. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to begin putting together that plan. I'm going to do it in public so that you can see my thought process as I'm going through it, what I'm thinking about. As I'm going through and setting up a plan to launch a new product, you can understand how I'm thinking about it, decisions. You can ask questions or have input. But I've spent the last month building and beta testing essentially with this product to work out some of the big kinks. And right now it's deploying to where users can sign up for early access. You can sign up for early access if you want to be a beta tester for me. But we're gonna set this up so that we hard launch next week and what we need before that is, hold on, let me pull this up. Let me pull this bad boy up. Welcome in, chat. How we doing? Whoops, you don't want to see yourselves. How we doing, chat? Let's see. All right, let me pull this up. No, I want to be a little guy. Here we go. Yeah. There you go. A little square. Let's go. Let me pull my stuff back up. Where'd it go? All right. Okay. So, as I've been saying, I've been building up, not this one. Come on, JL, get your stuff together, you fool. All right, here we go. You can see this. Yes. Yeah, you can. How we doing, chat? Welcome in. All right. So for the last month, we've been quietly building this. Why? I need two things up, but not that one. All right. Own Your Fantasy Rankings. It's a fantasy football rankings platform for fantasy football analysts, for fantasy football creators, for fantasy football fans who want to have rankings themselves, their own rankings with their own information from their own head in there. Now, this isn't a big polished launch, like I mentioned. The product works. I'm still tightening some of the loose ends, and mainly I'm tightening the pieces I need prior to the big launch. Now, the big launch you might think is like this big, yeah, we did it, we finished, the finish line type of thing, but it's really not. That's not how it works. The launch is a super important part of the product development process because it is a learning opportunity for the product. It's really important because it represents your entire hypothesis. All the stuff that you built prior to that was built on hypothesis that this is going to be something that these people want. And your launch is your bringing that hypothesis to the market, or your experiment around the hypothesis to the market. And the market's going to respond one way or another. They're either going to not say anything, not do anything, or they're going to say a lot of stuff and maybe not do stuff, or maybe they do a lot of stuff. It could go any number of those options or permutations. And it's really important for you as the product builder to be thinking about what information am I going to get back after I put this to the market, right? Because the market is how you get the most useful data for building your business or building products or content. Content works the same way. When you make a new video, me doing this live stream right now is me putting content out there. It's publishing, and I'm going to ultimately go back and look at it to see if this was. I'm going to look at a number of things. So for content, I'm going to look at was this valuable? Like, did people like it? Did people watch it? Did people engage while they were watching it? Were they interested in it, or was it quiet? I might design this. This is designed around showing you this build in public launch process So that might, whether you guys are interested in this is going to tell me whether I should keep doing content like this. And it works the same way with product. That wasn't as clear of like an illustration as it was in my head initially, but I got there. Welcome in, chat. How we doing? How we doing? All right. Welcome in. I see a bunch of you in there, mostly Twitter. Welcome in, Twitter. So today we're going to put together that launch plan. We're going to talk through some of the stuff you need to think about prior to launching, some of the stuff I need to think about prior to launching this product. Where did I want to go next? And today I'm opening this up for early access. You can sign up right now if you want. It's deploying, so maybe now we check that it's deployed because I had to set up the the early access stuff. Let's see. Yeah, we're deployed. You can check it out if you want at frank.frontyardfantasy.com and sign up for early access. And I'm going to let in a certain amount of people in the short term, within the over the next week or two, to increase that number of users who are going to be using the product. And starting to provide feedback on the product, on whether it's useful or not, and like opening up basically that volume. If this was a YouTube video, I would, you post it and then YouTube does a lot of the rest. They handle all like the getting it out to the audience part, whether to your audience or to the people who are interested in the topic that you're talking about. But for products, we don't have that same type of platform, right? We can't like say, we can't just put this out there and then rely on YouTube to put the product in the hands of the people who will find value in it. So we need to design some sort of marketing process, like a marketing plan, so that right after launch, like at launch and after launch, we can continue talking and sharing the product and getting it or increasing the chances that we get it in the hands of the people who actually want it. Because I don't know every single fantasy football analyst, creator, fan who would want to use this product. I know a handful of them. And so I can lean on that network. I can lean on doing content. I can lean on paid promotion, paid ads, those types of things. There's a bunch of different channels we can explore. Let me pull this. I minimized it. Here we go. And so today we're going to build this launch plan, or at least get it started, get it going, so that we can get to a more concrete place where it's like, all right, now we are definitely ready to launch, right? We're definitely ready to open the doors and just start hammering the marketing plan that we've put together. So let me show you this. Here's the landing pages we currently have today. Own Your Fantasy Rankings. It's an authoring platform. You come in here and see if you've never played fantasy football before, or you aren't familiar with this. Fantasy football rankings are basically a way that I can communicate to you advice on how to make decisions at a certain key moment in the game of fantasy football. And so usually it's drafting, but it could be like starting or sitting of different players. But for the drafting is the most obvious one. I'm sure if you haven't played fantasy football, you're familiar, hopefully, with the game and mechanics where you draft players just like you do in the NFL draft. And so we have this interactive little piece here, visual, to communicate that to the people who know what this is. Rank once, variants update everywhere. And so this is explaining what the process is, just drag and drop. Do a demo here. Let me pull this off. Yeah. Cool. So these are my 20. Let me pull up the dynasty. You got dynasty. We got draft. Oh, great. That's fantastic. See, this is why you don't do demos live. Now, the deploy didn't work. It told me it worked, and then I hit go live, and then now I'm live, and now it's not working. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Railway, for lying to me. Let's see if I can fix this real quick on the fly. All right, stuff happens. Oh, okay. Wait, this might be an easy fix. This might be an easy fix, folks. Hold on. I gotta just run something. Yeah, here we go. I just gotta run that. All right. It's gonna hopefully we'll be yeah, we're cooking now. Dumb boy. Gotta run the migrations, you idiot. What do you again, JL? Embarrassing yourself. Never code live again. All right, back into dynasty rankings. Let me show you what it looks like, the live demo here, just so you get an idea. It won't be long. So this is the idea is this is a process that most fantasy football analysts or creators have to do as part of their process, part of the offerings that they offer to their audience. They have to create these. Now, how they typically do this is each one has their own process. A lot of them use custom spreadsheets. There is one other type of platform like this on the market offered by a big incumbent in the space called Fantasy Pros. They have the Fantasy Pros expert rankings platform, which essentially offers this type of interface to fantasy football rankers, and it also has like a contest built around it so that these analysts and creators can have a marketing material throughout the year, right? I'm the most accurate ranker, like follow my advice type of thing. Uh, but it's only available. It's a what do you call it? It's that they only offer that product to people that they've vetted, and so like people they consider experts. So this wouldn't be useful, if somebody is independent creator or early on, like Simon and I were years ago when we were just starting out. Like we might not get on there, be able to use that platform because they're trying to keep the value of their experts for their platform at a certain level. So you can't fault them for that. It's a product decision they're making, and so we essentially want to offer that same type of ability for other analysts who don't need their approval and who maybe don't have a spreadsheet or a custom workflow that they've built like some of the larger or like more established creators likely already have a system. So the goal here is save time. This interface, the product is designed to really cut down the complexity time and allowing the ranker, whoever is making the rankings, to focus on the part of rankings that is theirs, which is which players do you suggest, like advise over others, like put them in order, which players do you like more than these other players. Like you have to vet this out, and then you get held to that in the court of public opinion. That's how it works in our industry. And then on top of that, a lot of these custom solutions people have built, there's a huge issue with just getting all the stats and data around NFL players, the specific context of putting together draft rankings and the data you need for that versus the data you need for other types of rankings that you may offer. And so this is the real focus of this product, is to cut down that time for those people. I'm giving you this demo now so you have an idea of what the product looks like. And it'll explain then, or at least that will be way more helpful for us as we go through the marketing or the launch process, not marketing process. What are you saying? You yap long enough, you start saying nonsense. How we doing, chat? Lucas in the chat says shit happens with the 500 air. I know, man. It wouldn't be a product launch. Exactly, dude. Oh man, I remember we launched a daily trivia product at BDGE, and it was like the second product I launched there, and the whole day we had like thousands of people using it day one, and the whole day I'm sitting there watching the Heroku stats on the servers because we just kept getting close, and then you'd see some people start getting 500s, and then I had to change it and tweak it, and God, it wouldn't be a launch without it, man. It's the adrenaline. It's what we live for. The danger. So we got these dynasty rankings here. Show you an example of this. If you're interested in fantasy football, or this is something you're interested in, you can sign up for early access now. Just go to frank.frontyardfantasy.com and sign up for an account, and I'll give you a early access. They'll put you on the wait list, and I'll go through and approve people after the stream and throughout the weekend if you're interested in using it and being an early tester. Now, I'm going to ask you for feedback if you use this. Don't use it and then just say nothing to me. So that's why we're setting this up, this early access, like first part of the stage, soft launch and hard launch. All right, we're splitting this up into two phases, soft launch and hard launch. There's a couple reasons for that, and you might want to consider that if you're, trying to decide which of the two for your own product. There's a number of advantages to doing early access or doing a soft launch. Really, a launch is a learning event. It's how you get the crucial information you need to make the decisions right after you've launched. There's like a number of decisions you got to make after launch. Okay, what do we build next? What do we go fix? Do we go build something new? Do we keep building this up? Is this thing doing what we think it does? We spent all this time and money building this thing. Is it achieving what we set out for it to achieve? And so that's really what we want to answer. Does this achieve what we want to achieve? Does this help the person we're trying to help with the task we're trying to help them with? In this case, you can think of that as like the launch audience. So like this tool, F-Rank, is for fantasy football content creators, rankers, analysts, media brands who are managing rankings via these spreadsheets or screenshots, tools, or who are still using Fantasy Pros expert rankings platform. It's a way for, even if they're using that expert platform, they might not like the interface, or they might want to take those rankings and plug them into their own draft guide, their own ecosystem, their own stuff of products. And so the audience we're trying to hit here is it's really just fantasy football creators, and I think fantasy football fans too, because part of this I think we could position towards, I think there's a lot of fantasy football fans, people who are really into fantasy football or NFL, who like doing rankings, want to do rankings, but, don't have a reason to, don't have an audience. So we'll see. We'll see about that. That might come into play here as we're putting together our launch plan. We'll see. And so the promise is the core promise is the second piece of this launch plan that we need. It's our offer, right? It's the thing. What is this thing? What do we want you to do? And what do we promise that we're going to give you back as in exchange for doing the thing we're asking you to do? In this case, signing up for early access to the product, right? Early access for soft launch here. We already set up our audience, and then early access is the action we want them to take right now. Once we shift into a hard launch, the offer will shift. We won't be around, go get early access now. We'll have an offer that's built around what we want to actually build the product around, the pricing. And so what features are we going to offer? What's the business model? How do we, are we going to charge for this? Is it a free product? Is it freemium? Is it parts of it free? Which parts? And so there's a number of options and choices that need to be made there. But the core promise is adjacent to that. It's basically what we are promising to do for the person in exchange for this action they're going to take. So product readiness checklist is another thing that we could put together here, which is I'm going to write down all these different things that we need to have checked before we go. The landing page is crucial for any product you have. It's where you display that offer. And so we're going to put together the offer, and then this is where we display it, right? Here's the value prop that we're giving to the analysts, and we can go through and tweak this as we go. Right now, there's nothing about early access in here because I just added early access. Okay, back to this. Landing page improvements, pricing assumptions, content plan. So we can put together some ideas for how to market this, how to market this product. How do we ongoing, even after the launch, at launch, and then after the launch, how do we continually help people become aware that our solution exists to the problem that they have? Proof testimonials, and so we can build some feedback loops into, put some like feedback loops, wrong. Feedback loops, user testimonials, and we can grab this from our early access list. So We can assume most of the people signing up for early access are kind of falling that early adopter category where they're like willing to test these products, willing to sign up for something and wait for it. They're willing to try things out. And that also gives us a little bit of freedom to be like, hey, we want to know more information. And so we build out feedback loops, one of those being grabbing user testimonials or talking to our early access users and digging into what their experience was. We can pair that with analytics. So I should put that in here. Launch week schedule. We need to product readiness checklist. We got to do. We got to add analytics. Figure out analytics. What events do we want to track around the product usage so that we have more quantitative data around to support that hypothesis that we initially formed with this offer? That's like it's going to pair with these user interviews, early access user interview. And then we can put together a launch week schedule. That's really kind of part of this content plan, I guess. And yeah, and we could put together any open questions as we go here. Okay. We're doing chat. How are we doing, chat? Welcome in. Welcome in. Hey, if you haven't already, make sure you check out my new YouTube channel, which all of this is in to support. It is at Creator CTO. It's where I'm going to be putting all the content related to this tech and product stuff. If you're enjoying this, you're probably watching on my Twitter, which is how most of these people have been watching. And so I'm only going to be putting some of this stuff on Twitter for, I won't be doing that forever. So make sure if you like this type of content, go check out this channel. It's brand new, just started it. And we're back to building. All right, so hard launch plan. So we got to think about these different things. Let's do it together. Launch audience. We got to think about like, what do we want to learn? Work to do before the launch. We got to think about what do we actually want to learn from this launch. This is a huge question you got to ask yourself before doing the launch, because it really does help us with a lot of the other things. The launch plan, we already know the launch audience. I built the product with that in mind. The product vision came from that part of it. The core promise also was built around the product that we have built, right? It's concrete. It's not something we need to figure out now as part of the launch sequence. It's something that was already figured out when the decision to build it was. And so with the core promise here, it's just about distilling that into then something like a clear vision, a clear statement. And then using that to translate that into the landing page design. Our early access offer, which is waitlist and survey, we got that figured out. Product readiness, we'll continue that. I'm gonna move that down here. Pricing assumptions, that's something we're not gonna figure out on this stream. This is not gonna be a pricing stream, but we can talk about it. Landing page improvements. So yeah, I don't know why I wrote this up. These are just some different ideas. Video. So doing a launch video, work to do for launch video. This is something super easy that we can do as part of over the weekend. I can film a video of me using and introducing the product, just like I'm doing now in the live stream. I can make a short video, and then whenever we do the hard launch, we post to all these different channels. We can include that video. And a lot of people like video as the medium, but to consume the info by. But we can kind of design our posts so that they can watch the video or read the text. And we got to decide which channels we'll post to. This is going to go into our content plan here. Launch week schedule, decide which channels we'll post to. That's probably part of the schedule. Launch a video. So that's like artifacts we might need. So let's put that in here. Artifacts we'll need. Proofs, testimonials being one of them. What else? Launch audience. This is for promise, early access offer. That's all around like the offer. Value prop offer and stuff. Yeah, I don't know if we need to separate that. All right, and we're also, guys, we're living in the world of AI, so we're not going to do this the old way, by hand, like a couple of old farts. We're going to do this the new way, the young way. And so we're going to ask for help. We're going to ask for help from the bots because the bots are geniuses and way better than us at marketing. I can tell you that for sure. So we can act like an expert marketer. I'm going to change this. Act as an expert product marketer. Think Marty Kagan, which, if you don't know, is the product manager GOAT. All right. We're working on the launch plan for a new product, SaaS product. F rank. It's called F rank. F rank. F rank. It's called the Frank. We're going to ask you a question we're going to ask you questions as we put together our concrete launch plan. Concrete. I'm going to take that out. Has nothing to do with concrete. We're going to ask you questions. I just don't want it to start telling me stuff. Okay, cool. Stream friendly bot. Sweet. Also, you're on live stream, just so you know. So keep your answers short and to the point. And don't tell them any of my embarrassing stuff. Good bot. Good bot. And don't forget to call me boss. This is how you work with the AI. This is how you do it. Updated memory. Good. Love that. Okay. It's cool. Now we got our bot primed, ready to go. Our Marty Kagan bot. So where do we want to start here? Okay, let's start with having it list out all of the artifacts we'll need. Lay out all of the artifacts that we'll need to have in order to launch. Is that what I want to ask it? Lay out all the artifacts that we'll need to in order to launch. No, that's not what. What specific artifacts do we need in order to launch our product to the market? Damn, that's professional. Boss. I love that. For a real SaaS launch, you'll need launch artifacts across 5 buckets. Positioning, okay? We'll need sales conversion artifacts, okay? Let's lay these out. Let's lay these out. I can't keep track of the bot. What? Okay, it says artifacts. Oh, here we go. Here we go. We already had some for this. All right, so we'll need launch content artifacts. Sweet, that sounds official. We'll need sales conversion artifacts. Look at that. Look at that. We'll need positioning artifacts. Positioning artifacts. Product readiness artifacts. So you're going to see this is kind of going to mirror some of the shape, and we're going to reorganize this as we go in the little Notion note over here. just so it's, hopefully you guys can see that. Hopefully it's not too tiny. Tiny bot, get bigger, get bigger. Not that big. Settle down. Settle down, bot. An internal launch control artifact. So that might be launch checklist, launch timeline for the team. Yeah, this is for our team, our big team of one. Risk list. I'll give Simon a risk list. A known issues list, beta feedback tracker. So we need a way to be able to track feedback. We have the landing page. We have the sign up early access flow. We have a clear positioning statement. We don't have a demo video yet. We mentioned that one. We don't have a launch announcement post yet. We don't have an onboarding checklist necessarily, although that's kind of built into the onboarding workflow with the survey and everything. So maybe we have that one satisfied. We need a beta feedback tracker. This we don't have. There's no mechanism on the site to get feedback. There is on the job board. We can build that into the Frank, but I'll have to do that. Otherwise, we should think of different ways to get feedback, other feedback loops. Basic support path. So if somebody needs help or needs help with their account or has questions, we need some way for them to be able to get to us. Success metrics. This is super important. We need to put this one in here. Success metrics. Wait, that's part of this one. Yeah, okay. Internal launch artifacts was success metrics. I didn't finish doing the categories. Proof testimonial, where does that one go? It's probably in the sales conversion. Yeah, yeah, buddy. Sales conversion. Here we go. We need landing page. FAQ. That could be a good one. We haven't come up with that. Objection handling. Why not just use a spreadsheet? So that's interesting. So you might want, yeah, that makes sense. Like, again, we're trying to get information from a launch. That's one of the biggest. I hesitate to say the primary purpose of launching the product, but it kind of is. Otherwise, you don't need to do a big, like, the only other reason to do a big launch is the only other reason to do a big launch like that is to just get awareness out there, is to get people using it. But beyond that, like, you're going to have to keep doing that. It's not just the launch. The launch is just one tactic that you can use to get more users in the door. But it's just a one and done typically, right? You just have one launch, or every new feature can be like a mini launch, but it's not something you reuse. So the other really main important point to get out of the launch is the informational value, is the feedback value, it's the data that you're going to get and the learning you're going to get, because before you gave it to the market, you didn't have that stuff, that data that you're going to get from launching it because you designed it in the right way. So let me give you an example of this, of when we did this in the past. So at BDG, that the product we launched last year on my birthday, like I mentioned to you, is a trivia membership. And so we launched a paid trivia membership. We already had a daily trivia game. We launched a paid trivia membership with two different plans. It was like a Cones plan and a Steens plan. It was basically like a $5 and a $7 one. It was like slightly more. Initially, the way they wanted to set up the launch was to launch all of it under one plan and put all the products out there as part of the launch. So we'd have like 3 games all together, and you just get access to the games or you don't get access. So you're either willing to pay for the games or you're not willing to pay for the games. But we reframed that. I was able to reframe that for them to instead think about what information do we want to get out of this? Like, what do we want to know afterwards? And the primary question that came out of that was, which of our audience cares about the games, would pay for a smaller offering that's more game focused, that isn't attached to the brand and the content that they're making? And then how much of the audience, or the people who actually pay for this membership, are willing to pay even more to get access on top of it, like even extra access, so they could come into a live stream and play the games with the guys. And so by doing that and setting it up that way and then launching it to the market, we had data one way or another that told us where the audience, or at least the people that converted through that sales process, where they landed. We had numbers to look at and inform that next decision on, okay, well, now that we launched this bad boy, what next? What next? And that's where that information became crucial, like so important. And so we want to think about that. To tie that back into this, that story back into this, is that we want to think about that now, so that when we launch here, and do the hard launch, then that we're not wasting that moment, because that's a moment for us to scoop up this data value, and we can't get the value after we do it. We can only get it if we do this ahead of time. All right, so we got those. Let's keep putting those together. How we doing, chat? Welcome in. Welcome in. Hey, if you've been using AI or you're building products, and you got questions about products, or you want us to look at it, give you some feedback, if you want help on the different products you're working on, or help getting AI to make you products, throw questions in the chat. That's what I'm here for. We're doing more of these live streams every weekday. But yeah, throw some stuff in the chat. Let's yap. Okay, so back to this. All right, so we got a good idea of, I wanted to lay out these different categories so that we could then start riffing and throwing stuff in here. So internal launch metrics, this is like success metrics, riskless, we don't know what that is. Launch timeline, that's fine. Launch checklist, known issues list, that's an important one. So just somewhere to keep track of our issues as they come up, because whenever you launch it, you really anytime, whenever you have more than just a few users using your product, you want to start pattern matching, finding where they're having the same friction, or where they're having the same pain points. You'll often hear patterns in that if you talk to enough of your users and figure out, okay, like a lot of them don't like this part. We should probably figure out that part. Feedback tracker, known issues list, feedback tracker, same kind of idea. Demo video, we already talked about. Did we put that in here though? Landing page demo video. So that's something I'll have to work on throughout the weekend. It's another artifact we'll need for the launch. So again, if you're just joining us, we're putting together a launch plan for a hard launch. We're soft launching a new fantasy football rankings product today called F Rank. And we're getting this ready to hard launch. I really hate this soft hard launch adjective that I've chosen, but I'm committed now. I can't switch. So this is the tool. We're building the fantasy football rankings tool is built. It's now built. We have it built. Why won't you get small? Get small for me. So this is the tool we are working on. We're working on putting together a hard launch plan. This falls into the domain of product marketing. If this isn't your area of expertise, you're unfamiliar with what we're doing here. And I'm sure there's people who are maybe more familiar with this than I am, maybe watching the product marketing world. I am not an expert in product marketing. And that's not the purpose that I'm here today to be here with you. It's not why I'm here. I'm not here to be an expert in product marketing with you. I'm here to do this work in public and work with you all and show my thought process as I'm going through it, so that for some of you that this is relevant to, that or is intriguing to you for whatever reason you're watching, that maybe you take something away from it different that you didn't have before. Think about it, either product or content and AI differently maybe than how you were thinking about it before. And so we're putting together this hard launch plan for this new tool that I'm going to launch in the following weeks. And it's now available for early access if you want to go and sign up for that, and I'll approve you if you give me feedback. So if this is something that's interesting to you, or this falls into your category, falls into your domain of like, oh man, I'm this target customer, then I encourage you, like, come participate in this process. You come be that beta tester user. I'll be the builder We'll we'll yap and talk about it, and even if you're creating your own stuff, then it'll be helpful to switch roles, or like be that role, watch me do it, and then I'll talk about you being that role. Okay, so back to this. We have our landing page, we have the product, we have the onboarding workflow. For new users when they come in, there's a tutorial built in so that they can easily get the value for the product, or of the product, if they're the right segment. And I've cut out all other features outside of this, because all of the rest of that is going to be noise. It's going to be noise that distract us away from the information we're trying to get with this launch, like I told you, like we talked about, like we already knew. And so, yeah, let's think about more. Let's just keep filling this out. I'm filling out these different artifacts, because at some point we'll hit it where it's like, okay, this is it. There's nothing more. Launch content artifacts. What do they say in here? See if any of these launch announcement posts. We'll need one of those. Launch announcement post. Founder story. Yeah, okay. Founder story post. This product founder. Hey, a founder. That's hilarious. So this product does have like, it's a product I've been working on for years and years, since I got into the industry. So there is a decent story behind it. Maybe this isn't a requirement for every launch. It really depends on if you have a story that adds to your brand, like that is relevant to this launch. Product demo clips. This is kind of what this is sales. Product demo clips. Launch content artifacts, sales conversion artifacts. Demo video, product walkthrough. Okay. Yeah. Let's ask it. What's the difference between sales conversion artifacts and launch content artifacts? Boss. Okay, you're overdoing it. The boss now. I need like a by the way, by the way, chill with the boss thing. Let's get back to our conversation though. Launch content artifacts create attention. Sales conversion artifacts turn that attention into action. That's pretty good nuance. All right, bro had the answer. Launch content answers, why should I care? While sales conversion answers, why should I sign up, pay / try this now, whatever the actual action is. Good distinction. For example, artifact, founder story post. Job builds trust and awareness. Why is this? It doesn't get wide. These combos don't get wide. Come on now. Job builds trust awareness. Launch announcement tells the market something exists. Demo clip on Netflix creates curiosity. Behind the scenes stream builds credibility. Okay. Email launch announcement drives traffic. Email launch announcement. All right, we don't have one of those. Those are launch content artifacts. Landing page, pricing page, FAQ, product walkthrough, testimonials. Why not just use sheet section? That's all landing page stuff. Everything they mentioned there really is landing page stuff. So that's good to know. That wasn't really clear from the first list. Launch content artifacts versus sales conversion artifacts. I guess maybe it is. Oh, they literally said this. I just didn't read because I'm streaming and I'm yapping. These turn attention into signups. Okay. These create awareness and momentum. All right. So sales conversion artifacts, launch content artifacts. It's trippy because I got these switched up. That's why here we go. So demo video, we got the proof testimonials, needed landing page. Well, that's done. So we can already, like, I don't know, make that green or something. FAQ, develop. Produce. Come on, man. Produce demo video, not deuce. Deuce Vaughn, the demo video. Produce demo video, launch content. We need to launch announcement post, founder story post. Behind the build, less crucial problem solution posts. That one's probably crucial. That's something we basically need, like at least a week of posts, or week of stuff that we can share throughout the week, because not everybody in we can't reach everybody at the same time. Right? It's not how social media works. We gotta just like fire off on a bunch of different platforms and hope the right people find it, and build the following based off of that. And so we could design a few of these, but we also don't want to be too spammy, right? You don't want to be like just nobody was going to want to follow somebody who's just like hawking their wares the whole time. So we could probably think of some different ideas to do around that. The beta user, or like the wait list email announcement, that gives us like two different opportunities, especially the building and public part of it gives us two opportunities to share the launch, which gives us, that think about that with your own products. Is doing the early access waitlist gives you a kind of like a second launch date. Gives you a second opportunity to get that info that gets produced by this launch process. Live stream schedule. This is a good one. Doing like launch content. So live stream schedule, or video schedule. So videos slash schedule. Okay, that feels pretty good for that one. For the sales conversion, same type of thing. We can get some testimonials from our early access users. We really only need like 3 of those probably. We can add that to the landing page once we get them. But the landing page, like I said, is already created. You can go through and likely refine that based off of the core promise and the launch audience. But like I said, those are already been figured out largely before the product was built. Okay. How we doing, chat? Welcome in. How we doing? Welcome in. Wow. What's going on? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. All right, we're soft launching a rankings product, fantasy football rankings. So the idea here is we're trying to save fantasy analysts, creators like myself and my friends, trying to save them time so that they don't have to recreate this, a new solution to this problem. Be able to rank fantasy football players in a bunch of different formats. It's kind of a complex data problem, but it's simple on the surface. It's just listing players in order, right? A little drag and drop. You get a little bit tier stuff. And then ultimately, this becomes an artifact that creators in the fantasy football niche, in that industry, that they use to either go sell or use to go fuel their growth. Provide free rankings and build trust with their audience. It's a common content artifact in just specific to my niche. And so I built a product around it. It's a product designed to make that process easy for the ranker, designed by someone who is one of them. And so we're designing a hard launch plan for that. We've been putting together a list of the different artifacts we'll need for the launch plan. And I've been talking through how I've been thinking about the launch from a more strategic or a positioning standpoint of your product, and like what you're trying to actually get out of it. Because that's an important part whenever you're launching stuff. It is a hooray, we did it. Like, here's this thing. I made this for you. It is that, but it's also to get the important info that you need back, the important data that you need back to make the next decision on the product, which is, what do we do next? And do we keep supporting this thing? Because nearly all, like most products, not all products, but they cost to either make, they cost to host. There's like numerous random costs around somebody who creates a software product for you. It's now easier, cheaper with AI, which is fantastic. I think more and more people are going to be creating products, and it's why I'm creating this content right now, is to help those of you in the audience who want to create your own products and who are having these questions yourself, or maybe your background isn't professionally product and product launching, product marketing, and you're like, where do I begin? And so I'm trying to show you how I think about it, the different process I might go through, different tools at your resource, like the AI, to ask questions to, and just get you to learn. Like, you can learn this stuff. It's learnable for sure. It's all learnable. The bots learned it. You can learn it too. You tell me a bot's better than you? Is that what you're telling me right now? You better take a good hard look in the mirror this weekend, friend. So let's keep thinking about some stuff. Launch content artifacts. Yeah, we got a list of those. Maybe some different live stream content. Let's see, launch content, live stream schedule. So yeah, maybe like a live ranking live stream, live stream. This is one I was thinking I would do today, but I shifted it into making it about the planning the hard launch. So it can be something that we use in the content as part of the hard launch plan, which is going and just using the content, or I'm sorry, using the product in my content. So like dynasty rankings right now, it's a great time. I'm in a rookie draft. I'm I'm hot. I'm hot with the rookies right now. So I'm in here doing these rankings, and I can do a live stream where I'm doing that on my channel that's related to fantasy football and talking about my analysis and doing that in public. So that's one. That's a good idea. Good idea, Jay. Thanks, bro. Live ranking, live stream. What else? Ooh, could do like a uh, live user demo type of thing. I could get one of my friends in the industry, one of my friends who fall into this target audience, and I could uh, convince one of those schleps to get on camera with me and go through the process live, so we can humiliate them. That could be a good one. Invite friends, industry friends, to humiliate. They won't know that, but we'll know that. What else? What else could we do to showcase the product? Get more. Really, what we're trying to do is just create awareness. This first thing, right? Create awareness and momentum. That's the first thing. This launch content artifact. We already know the product. We asked the distinction on this too. Now we're focused on these two. Let's create awareness and momentum. What types of content related to this product would create awareness and momentum? Maybe getting who's someone whose rankings people care about. Let's get. I mean, this might be just a live user demo, but let's try to force Matthew Berry to come on and rank live to humiliate him. None of you better send this to him. None of you better send this to him. I've seen Matthew Berry mad at someone, and it is not pretty. These create awareness. I love Matthew. Nothing but respect for Matthew. These create awareness and momentum. All right, what other ideas could we create that would showcase the product, build some momentum? It's tough because right now, I mean, I got to take into account to the environment I'm in, which time is a factor, right? It's May, and this industry, the demand in the fantasy football industry is highly seasonal. It's concentrated into like 3 to 4 months of the year is when the heavy market demand comes. There's always demand throughout the year. It's large enough of a game now, popular enough of a game where you get demand all year round, especially with things like best ball and games like that. So which we can add in here. Oh yeah, I just remembered another idea we can go to. But before I do that, let me finish this idea, which is creating awareness and momentum. And so it's a tough time. I'm saying all that to say that environmentally or the timing wise isn't necessarily great to launch the product and get a ton of awareness. And but that's okay, because that isn't our main goal right now. It's not necessarily the let's hyper growth, hyper get people in the door. We want a good number of quality of our target audience in the door. We want a good number of our target audience in the door. That's what I'm trying to say here is right now we have a handful, right? We start with the private beta with just like a handful. It's right here, your best friends, the people you trust the most, not to say anything. And then once you go there, you graduate, you do your launch to like a bigger amount. If you do an early access or like beta or soft launch, it's like, okay, you increase it, but just a little bit, not all the way, just a little bit. And then you do the launch, and it's like, all right, now you send it out to sea. You send it. It's got to go grow up. It's got to grow up sometimes. Grows its wings. And so that's what we're in that earlier part of that stage, right? We're doing the soft launch part. We just need to expand it to our network. And so I think uh, maybe doing a like LinkedIn demo or live stream, or maybe working through some of the going to some industry events. For instance, off season is great for industry events. FSGA for industry events. I should just say industry in person events. I could think of those. A few I could go to as part of this launch plan. Go. It's always easier to convince people to do stuff in person than it is on screen, on TV, on I don't know what this is, on YouTube's, on camera, whatever it is. Like way easier to talk to people in person and persuade them to act or try something out. This is a great thing we could work into this. Now we're of course maybe limited by like what events are available with the timing of the launch and everything, but it's good. It's worth putting in here because you never know. Video schedule. We could put some rankings videos together. Tutorial videos. Close but no. How we doing, chat? Welcome in. Hey, if you got any questions, throw them in the chat. That's what it's there for. Rankings videos. What else could we do? Why am I kneeling right now? That's very painful. Tutorial videos. That's how to. Same thing. What else could we do? We could. Oh, well, this isn't on here, but we got to put the channels in here. Channels. We could do like Reddit, X, LinkedIn. We could do. I don't know. Sort of rankings. We could probably make some TikToks too. Instagram, like any of the social platforms where you can get discoverability. If you already have an audience, then using the product in front of your audience is honestly one of the best ways that you can organically create growth and awareness and momentum. So we have this in here, but that's going to be a primary way that I use this. Now, my audience for the content I make on my own channel, or my Front Yard Fantasy channel, isn't necessarily geared towards fantasy football creators. But I am a fantasy football creator via that channel. And so I can use it as a creator. And we have content where we bring on other creators. And so maybe I think of content that ties that in so that we can get them to start using it as part of them being a guest. I don't know. I'm riffing here, but I'm just trying to show you how I'm thinking about these different artifacts that we need as we're putting together this plan. This isn't polished. It's not meant to be a polished, something. I didn't spend a ton of time before this laying all these out. If I had, they would be more clear. And I could I'll likely put a video together as after this with once we do this launch with these clear artifacts, more distilled. But I wanted to build it live in public with you all, because I think this part of the process is helpful to see too, which is that you don't always really know all this stuff. If you're not an expert in product marketing, you might not know even what questions to ask. And so we can ask those questions here. This is as safe of a place as it can be, I think. YouTube. I haven't heard of anybody getting hurt on YouTube yet, but I also never checked. So we already asked this. This is a different question. Okay, so I feel like we got a good idea, a good amount of launch content artifacts, internal launch artifacts, success metrics. We got to think about what do we want to learn from this. And I think the primary thing, I didn't mean to make that as big. I think the primary, where did it go? Here. Get out of my face. Work to do before launch. Primary thing, is whether this, what we actually want to know, if we just zoom out, is does this product achieve what we set out for it to achieve? So in this case, does it deliver on the promise that we're making, which is to create, organize, snapshot, publish fantasy football rankings, that will be faster and less painful to the person who has a workflow for this, or the person who has to put these rankings together, wants to put these rankings together. And so the main way that we can test whether this is actually helping them do that is if they use it or not. We can talk to them, we can ask them what they think, and that's all good qualitative data, and it's useful. We can put it, especially if we ask it in a right way, we can put it to use. But ultimately, it's actions speak louder than words in principle here. That's the principle in play here, is actions speak louder than words. So we can track the usage of the product by the person. Now, for the creators that I know that we want to get in here for this early access, they likely will be putting together rankings right now for their audience, for rookie rankings, dynasty rankings, and we can track how many of them use it. And the other thing is that we can keep in mind is that as NFL news changes and ranking, we can almost assume the rankings should be changed. We can see whether they actually go in and change them, which will give us insight into how sticky the product is. If they are using it because we asked them to and then they forget it, and that's one thing, and that is a data point. It's not judgment. It doesn't mean the product's dead. It doesn't mean anything. It means that, yeah, it's just data. And so we want to get that data. And so let's put that in here. We'll say usage, daily, weekly usage. And so that would mainly be on the point, like the action that we'd probably want to track around this would be like editing, or maybe creating a snapshot, which is, as they're editing these rankings, similar to saving something, you want to save like a version of it, right? That's the idea with the snapshot, is that, okay, here's at one point in time, here is a snapshot of my opinion about dynasty draft rankings. Here's my rankings. Here's my opinion on it at this point in time, with all the extra data. I didn't put any in. All the different complexity of the data put together and serialized. And so that event, along with the editing of the rankings, so just going in and tweaking stuff as news comes in, we have to keep track of stuff and tweak stuff. And so looking at those two metrics are going to be the biggest thing, I think, for this. Let me pull that back up so we can get that one in here. Daily, week usage, and snapshot frequency. And we can also look at which ranking set types were used. So like that's not the right way to say it. But basically, like, where we could look at which features they're using. In this case, we're just offering two features, which is at the moment, which is these 2026 draft rankings and dynasty draft rankings. So whether they use those and across which one, we'll look at those two things, and that'll give us an idea of maybe where either people were sticking, why they were sticking, or on the other end, where they were dipping and why they were dipping. Okay, and then I put together these lists and stuff. I'm gonna, you guys don't need to watch me go and put together a list to track some of this stuff, but as long as we have it down, then I can go in here afterwards as I'm putting together the final hard plan, and I can fill that stuff in. But I want you to see all the various parts that we're thinking about here. We need like a one-line positioning statement at least. This is easy. We can use AI for that, like use AI and to help distill that down. It used to take a lot longer unless you were a really good writer, marketing person. You can now outsource that to the bots. Okay, we got the early access. We got the core promise. We're going to work on the launch video. And all the rest of the artifacts that we need for the launch. And another one that we didn't really talk about here that needs to be considered is the pricing. Your pricing assumption, like your pricing strategy. This is assumptions. I think strategy is probably a better word for this. which is really like we don't want to like launch. We don't want to launch this and then have to backtrack on the pricing of the offer. We want to have an idea of how we're going to price this in the market prior to the launch. Even if we don't offer that at the start of the launch, we want to at least have it in mind so that we aren't digging ourselves into a hole that we have to get ourselves out of, which is fine. It's not that hard to dig yourself out of holes, but it does cost friction for the customer often. There's some amount of customers who've experienced friction whenever you have to do that. You've all experienced that on the other end of it, right? Like Netflix changing their pricing model, or Amazon increasing their pricing $2 or $5, whatever it is. It's like, this sucks. That's friction. And so we can think more about that. I need to think more about that, and we need to have that prior to the launch plan. I have an idea of the way I'm going to price this, but I haven't nailed it down yet. And so that's another really important piece you have to have considered that I wanted to mention here. But the rest of this stuff, we're pretty set up. I'll make sure the analytics part get in so that we're tracking the right usage stuff over the weekend. And then I'll put together a content plan, and we'll fill out the posts, the live streams, and put together this plan so that going into the launch week or the weeks, whatever the launch period, that we have, that we are confident that we are doing our part in generating as much awareness and momentum that we can, or that's within our circle of influence. All right, there's some Stephen R. Covey for you to end out the live stream on a Friday. All right, chat. Thanks for joining. It's good to chat with you about products and AI stuff, and it's super boring working alone all the time. So thanks for joining. If you got questions, and if you haven't yet, make sure you go check out the YouTube channel, Creator CTO. Go post questions in there, or check out the videos we're putting. We're live right now, and so yeah, a different platform. You like watching videos on Twitter? That's cool. I like that too. But YouTube's cool too. All right, chat. I appreciate you. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Goodbye.